Going on YouTube, this is Hurt Collects Comics. Thanks for tuning in to my channel. It's Wednesday night, the hump day of the week, and I wanted to do a haul video over the weekend, and I didn't end up getting a chance to do that until tonight. I ended up doing two other videos over the weekend. One was a contest entry, so I had picked up some things recently I wanted to show off in the haul, and so I'll just get right to it. It's not going to be a long video. I ended up coming across a series I didn't even know existed that involved Robert Kirkman. It's called The Astounding Wolfman. And the seller who was selling this on eBay was selling all 4 volumes. They're pretty thick and meaty volumes, and it appears they've only been read once. It doesn't do justice through the bag, you know, but, you know, this, with the exception of a crack that I noticed on the one trade, but the other, aside from that, it's intact, and the other 3 are in great shape. But ended up getting all 4 of them for $9.99, which I was really happy about because, you know, they're pretty meaty trade paperbacks, and it seemed like, I mean, as far as supernatural goes with like vampires and werewolves and mummies and zombies, I always liked werewolves. I was a fan of the Underworld movies with Kate Beckinsale, and Rise of the Lycans was awesome. I thought Lucius was a great character. So I'm always into like werewolf stuff where I can get my hands on it. So this is all 4 volumes. Hopefully we'll get into that at some point down the line. And I never really got into any Miles Morales. I know that, you know, he's a popular character now, and so I figured this was a good series to start off with a little bit of an intro to Miles Morales as, you know, Marvel's current go-to guy for Spider-Man. So this is a 5-issue limited series where it looks like him and Peter Parker meet for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. And so I look forward to checking this out as well. Writer is Michael Bendis. And issue 4. Miles, no! And then he's back in the very next issue anyway. So this looks like a fun read. That was another recent haul there from a different seller. I picked this up for like $2 just for fun. Looks like it's brand spanking new. X-Men and Ghost Rider, Brood Trouble, and the Big Easy. Looks like some old school early 90s X-Men. Has artwork by Jim Lee. And my first introduction as a kid who started collecting in the early 90s to X-Men was the television series, but also the, you know, I guess was it the second series of the X-Men that, you know, featured artwork by Jim Lee for, I don't remember how many issues, and story by Chris Claremont, but, you know, the artwork, you know, that he did for X-Men was absolutely fantastic in my opinion. And this has got the Gambit that we all, you know, knew from the 90s, and this rendition of Gambit was clearly the best. But so look forward to reading that. Looks like a fun little mini trade paperback. I like to get Marvel, the old graphic novels that they did in the early 80s all the way up until the early 90s, these oversized graphic novels, and anytime I can get a good deal on them, I pick them up. And I ended up getting this one here. I don't know when this one is from, what year, but I'll open it up in a second. I think it's from the late 80s. But, pardon, I've been enjoying the new Squadron Supreme series that everyone, you know, of course, I'm sure has read by now, with Submariner getting his head ripped off by Hyperion. And, so I wanted to know a little bit more about Squadron Supreme because I had never really read anything beyond, you know, the current series that's out now. And so I knew that they had this graphic novel. Okay, so this is from 1989. And Death of a Universe. So I look forward to checking that out. And I ended up getting another graphic novel, mainly because one of my favorite artists is Joe Jusko. His, you know, everyone knows him, of course, from the original Marvel Masterpiece cards in the early 90s, and 92 was it? I forget. But Again, I knew that I love hunting these Marvel graphic novels down, and as soon as I saw Joe Jusko cover art, it was a no-brainer. I ended up picking up 2 copies. The other one I have over there bagged and boarded. That's in better condition than this one. I'm going to read this one. But it has a story with Stan Lee and Jerry Conway, and the penciler's Ross Andrew. And then, of course, the cover's Joe Jusko. So I look forward to diving into this one probably this week, and this is at the pretty high on the top of my list as far as some of these books that I'm showing off here. And that same seller, I guess I didn't really want this other book, but I guess he had a little Joe Jusko lot, so that other Marvel graphic novel came with this as well. And it has an awesome cover by Joe Jusko again, with dollar bills flying out the helicopter, and Punisher Frank Castle doing his thing. I mean, just look at the faces, man. I mean, again, if you're familiar with Joe's artwork, you know that the man is a legend. He's going to be at one of the cons that I go to up here in Jersey in April, the East Coast Comic Con. They have a lot of cool names this year. Mike Zeck is going to be there, Joe Jusko. You know, there's going to be quite a few folks. And Bob Camp is going to be there, you know, from artists for Ren and Stimpy. But they have a lot of good names, and one of them is Joe Jusko. So I look forward to getting his autograph on a few of these books. So not long ago in a different video, I showed off this book here, which I recently acquired. I really like the whole Joe Fixit you know, version of the Incredible Hulk, and so this was a 2-story arc in Wolverine's first series, issues 7 and 8, and I had read them, and then I got a deal on this. And the one that comes before this, issue number 7, I wasn't necessarily looking for it in a graded format. I got this because this John Buscema cover is absolutely, you know, this is a fantastic cover, you know. And this other one is great too, but it's not, doesn't speak to me as loudly as issue 8. The seller on eBay was selling this for $21. At first I wasn't sure, and he had a make me an offer as well. And I made him an offer for $19.99, $21. So I'm being a little bit of a cheapskate. I apologize. But I don't know, like 12, 14 hours passed. He wasn't doing anything about my offer. And so I was like, let me just buy this thing for the extra $2 before someone else beats me to the punch. You know, I mean, the CGC fees alone exceed $21. You know, but this is a great story anyway with Wolverine, who is going by the name of Patch at this time. You know, and him and Joe Fixit. So now I've got both of them, and you know, I'm pretty happy about that. So that's all the slabs that I got to show off. And last but not least, another thing that I got recently that I've loved as a kid. I can't tell you how many hours I would look at the numbers thinking that, you know, one of the many #1s that were appearing in the early 90s would someday be worth tremendous amounts of money. And all those Image #1s that I got, Supreme and Pit and The Max and all that other stuff, they're worth nothing. But, you know, it was still something fun to do, and I loved Wizard Magazine, so I recently got this for, I think, about $9, $9.99 off a seller on eBay, and I don't know, I just wanted to have it. It's something to look at, to reminisce. And I was looking at some of the numbers. I wrote them down here. I'll share those in a second. Show you some early photographs of artists who are now famous legends in the biz. There's Whilce Portacio, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Art Adams. But this is now again in the early 90s, right? When did this come out, this sucker? 1991. Also some early photograph of the cover artist of the first issue, Todd McFarlane. Autographing some stuff there. And so, yeah, this was a cool thing back in the day. Had a good run, but they're no longer in print. And so I thought, before they become scarce. They're not so scarce now. I figured let me get one because I never kept any of them, unfortunately. So I'm happy to have the first issue. But some interesting numbers here. I'm not sure if at that time serious collectors were taking the numbers in this price guide seriously, but assuming that they were, since that's why they were in print. In 1991, a Hulk 181, the big Wolverine that everyone now, if you've got it at this price, you're golden. But in 1991, it was $240 with that now iconic cover by Herb Trimpe, the first cover, full appearance of Wolverine. $240. That thing now, forget about it. Amazing Spider-Man 129, first appearance of the Punisher. That was $275 in the first Wizard price guide. More than Incredible Hulk. And I think that now has changed a bit. I think 181 is more pricey than the first appearance of the Punisher. Giant size X-Men #1, oddly enough, was not listed. So I went with another popular Wolverine cover. Hulk 340, Todd McFarlane. That was $25 at the time. And interestingly, the Amazing Spider-Man first pencils by Todd McFarlane, $298, and $300 were priced at the same, $35. Now, of course, $300 is worth a lot more, but back then in 91, they were both even Steven. So that's my video for tonight. Just wanted to show off some of these books that I got recently, and hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be doing more videos, of course, at some point down the line, so check back soon. And contest that I'm running currently is coming to an end soon. Well, actually, no, it's almost soon. We got a little bit more time. February 20th, so not this weekend, the next weekend, right? So February 20th, 10 is the magic number. If you check back my video contest time, there are some great prizes there. To one lucky contestant, I'm only giving out one prize, but we'll, of course, ship that to you free of cost, and, some cool stuff in there. So please check out the video, and please like and subscribe this video, and I'll catch you guys down the line. Thanks.